Hi Rosy friends, it's Julie, and today I'm going to try out my mask for the first time. I have already done the patch test. I probably didn't need to do the patch test because I'm going to test out the red light, and I've done lots of red light therapy in the past using different products at different red light wavelengths. I've done this wavelength before, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. I will be fine, but I tried it out anyway. It has to do with putting tin foil to cover things up and just giving it a test on a small and conspicuous patch on your face. So I did go for that, but I'm going to be using this for the first time for realsies, so I thought that I would test this out with you. The instructions are actually pretty decent. It even shows you how to take a selfie so that you can track your progress, which I think is pretty good because that lets you see your progress along the way, and it makes me think that it might work. So I'm just going to do that now and face the window in, well, it says full sun, but it's the middle of winter here. I haven't seen the sun in several days, so I'm just going to do my best. And my face is a little bit more irritated than it has been lately because I just washed it so that I would be ready for this video. So it looks a little bit worse than it actually is, but you know, then it'll look bad at the beginning. Okay, so what we're going to do is first we're going to set the mask using the right settings, and then going to actually put it on, and I'll just tinker around with it a little bit to show you at first what it's all about. It does beep when you do stuff, so you can tell what's going on, which is kind of handy when you have the thing on. So it has 7 different colors or color combination options. So the colors that are available when using this mask are red, green, blue, purple, yellow amber, teal, and white. The one that we're going to be using today is the red one. The reason that I chose the red light therapy to test out is it's the one that I've been using from the very beginning. It's the one that I've had pretty much the best results with. I currently have been using a combination of red and amber together, which I absolutely love, which I would be able to use for this. I could just turn on the red and then follow it up with amber. I've been using a combination bulb until now. But I did start off with red. I've tried other red light products from different brands, and red is a good one. So I'm going to be giving red a try as my first one with this. There are a lot of different options that you can mess with on here. I'm going to be starting with the lowest setting. They always, on these instructions from RubyLux, they recommend to start off low and work your way up as you can see your response to the light. They also say not to overdo it, and that overdoing it doesn't give you more benefits. It just overdoes it, and it could be wasting your time too, and it could be wasting your time in 2 ways. 1, you're doing it too long, and 2, you could actually start cutting into the benefits you were actually seeing it from doing it shorter. It's really better, less is more. It's really better to start low and kind of work your way up until you find your best range instead of trying to overdo it. The options on this controller here, the power cord is surprisingly short, but the options that they have, you can turn on and off the power and on and off the lights. You can also change the length of time that you have your mask on, and you could change the intensity, the energy. This is the low setting for it, but I can actually turn it up 5 more times. I'll actually get closer to you to show you that. So this would be the low setting, and then 2, 3, 4, 5. So it actually goes up quite a bit. But I'm going to be starting on the low setting because I am going to follow the instructions and do this properly. The next thing that you can adjust is the time. That was the one thing that I found slightly baffling because the recommendation is to start with 1 minute, and that is very low anyway. But I agree with starting with 1 minute, and that way you can test that out, and then maybe the next day or like in several hours you can try increasing it by 30-second intervals until you start to arrive at the length of time that you want. But as much as they recommend that you start at 1 minute, there is no 1 minute option that I could figure out. Maybe it's in there and I just stink at using this thing, but the shortest time I could find was 5 minutes. So fortunately it does count down on the screen. 5 minutes will shut off automatically, but it will shut down on the screen. So it starts off at 5 minutes, so then you see it like it's immediately at 4, and then it counts down. So as soon as the number 3 pops up, then that's when I shut it off that I will shut it off for the test. But when I was doing the kind of trial and doing the patch test for it, I found that a little bit confusing, that it was like that when they recommend to do 1 minute to start, but 1 minute isn't really one of the options on here. But I guess 1 minute is so low, it's really just for the testing and building phase, and then 5 minutes is pretty much going to be your shortest possible session. So I can see that it's not really a part of the program, but it is part of the easing up at the very beginning. So there is some fiddling at the beginning, but I found that with every single light therapy product, there is just a little bit of trial and error because everybody's face is different. You want to be careful. Everybody reacts differently. So I just find that it's really a matter of just using these things with common sense and paying attention to the instructions and working around a little bit. So I'm not going to really hold it against the product that way. I did find that a little on the confusing side, but other than that, you know, if I'm going to be using it regularly at 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it happens to be, then I'm going to really like that I can just, you know, 1 minute I can definitely count out, but at 5 minutes and stuff, I'm going to like that this thing just shuts itself off automatically. I'm just going to see what I can actually do while I've got this thing on for a minute. But yeah, so wish me luck. Oh, and I did have to, there was some adjusting to do. There is a lot of room for adjustment. You can tighten this right down and for it to be tiny, or you can make it absolutely huge. I've got quite the noggin size, so I'm really glad that there's that much room. And it makes it adjustable so that if you've got like a braid in your hair or something, so there's more bulk at the back, then you've got room. I found that slightly tight is better than slightly loose. And this does adjust easily, so you might have to adjust it before every wear, unless you put like a little button or something to hold it in place. That said, once it's on, it does stay there. It's not that slippery. Okay, so I feel pretty. I don't know if you can still hear me past this thing, but definitely feeling pretty. Every time I talk, I can hear my own echo. It's pretty loud, so I don't recommend talking too much in this. Okay, I'm back. I'm gonna check out what I look like now. I was worried that would be claustrophobic. It was absolutely not. My face right now looks pretty much exactly the same. I'll take a picture. Expecting to have results that fast, because that's really not how light therapy works, but the reason that I took the second set of photos was to make sure that my skin wasn't having an adverse reaction right off the bat. Normally, if my skin is going to get sensitive to light therapy, it happens right away as it's on my face. It doesn't happen later on, basically as I'm sitting around and then suddenly whoosh, like the flare up or something like that. That's not how it works. A few comments about using this. As I said, I did not find it claustrophobic. I thought that I would. I really, really didn't. There are holes, like there's this whole open nose area here. So it's really easy to breathe. The mouth, I mean, I didn't like how echoey it was to talk, but I'm not going to put this on to have a conversation with somebody. The odds are that I will be wearing this at the very end of the night. It took a little bit of, got these like rubbery eye thingies that allow it to sit to really flush against your eyes. I found that the weight of the mask meant that they kind of shifted down a little bit. Still, as much as if I really looked all around, and I really was trying to observe everything while I had this thing on, if I really looked all around, then I could see a little bit of where the red light was, but nothing that I felt was threatening to my eye health or something like that. I didn't feel like it was shining on my eyes. It's just like if I really looked, I could tell that there was some not very bright light kind of around. So I think that the eyes are adequately protected. I'm used to wearing goggles, so the goggles have just the same amount of brightness as these. So it's a really comparable experience in terms of what your eyes can see. This is surprisingly heavy when it's on. It feels pretty light in your hands, but it's surprisingly heavy. I found that these the eye thingies were sitting on my nose, and I felt that my nose was being pushed down a bit. I don't have a tiny little nose. I've got quite the beak. So while there is sort of an indentation here for the nose, it wasn't the shape of my nose, so it was kind of pushing my nose a little bit, and that could be because of how tight I had the headband, but I felt that I needed the headband to be that tight because when I was doing the patch tests, I found if I had it too loose, then it would start to sag down my face. So I do need it to be certain tightness. That said, it wasn't uncomfortable and it wasn't painful or anything like that. I don't feel that I've like hurt my nose. It was notable that it did kind of have a pushing on the end of my nose feeling. They do say that you might find it more comfortable sitting up or you might find it more comfortable lying down wearing this. I would probably be more comfortable lying down or reclining. I felt very inclined to use this chair, rocks back quite a bit, so I was inclined to actually lie back, and that would actually take care of the whole problem of anything kind of pulling down or anything like that. It really wasn't uncomfortable, it wasn't painful, it wasn't scary, I didn't feel like I was trapped inside this thing. It actually felt pretty open. It was surprisingly open because most of it wasn't actually making, other than like where it was pushing down on the end of my nose, and there was light there, so the nose did get light therapy as well, but there wasn't a lot of contact there weren't a lot of contact points or anything, which I appreciate because I don't like things touching my face because my face gets irritated by that. So kind of impressed with that. I am looking forward to continuing to try this out and see how it goes. I know that I'm going to be very impatient to want to test out other colors as well. If the red does continue to work the way that I'm used to, then I might go red and then amber after about 8 weeks. I don't want to rush it. I really want to give it a fair try. I want to see how it works over time, as much as I would love to keep trying all of these colors out, and I'm very excited about it. And I would really actually love to try out the white light as well. The winter here is just getting started and it looks like it's going to be a long one, so I bet by the end of the winter this would actually be pretty handy. So hopefully I'll have enough time to try that, to see if the rosacea actually reacts to that, to see if it helps me feel any more positive, or like if it chases away SAD a little bit. So seasonal affective disorder, I mean, maybe when February or March come along, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so far so good. No adverse reactions. It's more comfortable than I thought that it would be. And I'm looking forward to sort of testing out different things, different ways of wearing it, like whether I'm lying down and reading and things like that. I could see very clearly. I was wondering if there would be really bright light around the eyes and I wouldn't actually be able to see through these. It's not a huge eye hole, but I could definitely read a book or something like that if that's what I wanted to do. I'm thinking I'm probably going to be using it in the evening daily. That's what I've been doing with light therapy before. So in the name of actually having an experience that I'll actually understand, that will be comparable to what I'm used to in other formats, that's probably how I'm going to do it. So this is the RubyLux LED Light Therapy Mask. Very impressed so far. It has 7 different options. I've tried one of them for 1 minute now, but I am looking forward to giving the rest of them a try. I think I will be trying as many of them out as I can. I might even try the ones with the blue light in there. Who knows? Maybe they can help out too. I haven't had a lot of luck with blue in the past, but I haven't really tried blue in the past very much, so who knows? Have you tried a mask like that? Have you tried this mask? If so, what did you like about it, not like about it, any of them? Are you thinking of this sort of thing in the future? I think this is really, really clever. If your focus is just on your face, then, you know, just being able to wear it and sit there, that is very handy. I do love my other light therapy. I've been using it for years now, but, you know, with something like this out there, I'm really, really keen to give it a try. So I hope you liked this video. I hope it was interesting to you. I hope you found it amusing and informative. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up. That way I will know that this is the kind of thing you like to see from me. And if you want to see more videos like this where I update on my use of light therapy, of this light therapy mask, and when I talk about all the other stuff that I'm doing in my Rosy lifestyle, then I hope you will subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit the little bell icon if you want to receive alerts every time I put up a new video. And other than that, I will see you next time.